All right, guys, we're going to go through piece by piece the basic down man drill. All right, I call this a down man drill because it's like you're the person who's on the ground and the other person is standing. And so how do we deal with an opponent who has advantages on us by being a standing person and we're on the ground? Now, this situation is different depending on whether it's self-defense or whether it's jiu-jitsu, but this drill is useful for both. So it's going to help you keep from getting your guard passed, and if you're in a real fight, it'll help you from getting killed. All right, so hopefully that'll work. All right, so the positions, right? Our opponent, if I'm looking at you and I assume you're my opponent and you're standing, this is going to be our first position, right? Then we can rock to our side, which is our stand and base position. We can come back to the center. We can rock to the side in our stand and base position on the other side. All right, so we've got 3 positions there. And then the fourth one is going to be rocking back, bringing our feet up because we're going to use them on the hips. All right, so you can practice just moving between those. I move to the left, to the center, to the right, rock back, come up, left, center, left, so you can just kind of do that. Now, once we do the positions and we have you have the positions, we're going to start adding a little bit of movement. All right, so the movement that we're going to be adding is circular movement and then rocking back and forth. So if we get into this and we're tracking an opponent, we want to be able to move in such a way that we keep this cone in front between me and the opponent. So if Thomas is, let's say he's on the ground. Right now we're squared up. I'm sorry, so you're standing. We're squared up here and I'm on the ground. So what I want to do is to make sure that if he starts to move, say to my right, that you notice that I'm kind of scooting and shrimping just a little bit, like our seated shrimp. I move to the right, and that way I'm keeping my arms and legs and keeping him in this cone. If I don't go this way, right, he ends up to the side of me, flanking me, getting behind me. So if he starts to move in the other direction, I'm going to go this way. Right, he switches directions again on me. Right. And now that is our circular component. Now let's add the forward and back distance component. So if I'm here, I should be able, I don't want to have to go too much further than my foot. I'm not going to reach for him with my foot, but if he's about foot distance, depending on how long his arms are, I'm more or less safe from a punch. Now Thomas is a fairly tall guy, so I might have to use a little more distance. You'll kind of do this as you play with it. But I want to stay out of his punching range. If he comes forward on me, I'm going to move to my back. If he's trying to reach my head, my feet go on his hips. Notice that my hips are rotated outward, so they kind of fit right here into the pockets. Not on his groin, not straight up and down, right? Knees slightly bent, and he's pressing in. I'm providing just enough force to keep him away from me. If he backs out, I sit up, right? I don't chase him with my legs, right? So if he comes here, if he backs out and I chase him with my legs, I end up like this. And if he comes back forward, he can step right over mine, okay? So if we add this into the drill now, he starts to move in one direction or the other. Okay, he switches directions on me. He comes in forward close. I drop back. He's trying to touch my head. I can use my hip bridge if I need to. He backs out a little bit. Okay, now what we're looking for in this position in this down man drill is the final goal is to get up. So what I want to do is to get up at a distance that I feel is comfortable enough that he can't just charge me and knock me down. So if he steps back fairly far out of range, right? So he's here, and he takes another big step back. I feel pretty good about getting up, and that's going to be my feed to get back to my feet. Okay? So if we do the whole drill, we can start on the ground. He starts to move around, switches directions whenever he wants to. Comes into me, he's trying to touch my head, right? He's backing out a little bit. Maybe he comes back in again, I don't know. Right here, just comes back in. I got the distance, so I get out. Okay, so you're just gonna play with this. There's a lot of variations. You can add punches, you can add strikes when you're standing, you can test balance. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can even add in guard work. But this is the matrix that you're plugging everything into, is this level 1 down man drill.